Good morning, everyone. It's been a little bit since I made a video like this, but I'm sitting here and I'm reading John 6 because John 6 has been the book and chapter that we've been in for Bible study at the local Salvation Army. Sorry, I just woke up. I'm waiting for my pickup and drop from Walmart. And I'm sitting here and I'm reading, and Jesus just got done feeding the 5,000, right? The miracle of feeding the 5,000 with the loaves of bread and fish. That seemed impossible to feed the multitudes of people, but it wasn't, and there was even leftovers. So, anyways, he also just got done revealing his power over the sea. And so I'm at the point where it talks about the work for heavenly bread. And I love this because in my Orthodox study Bible, it's not a Greek Orthodox, not Eastern Orthodox, it's just an Orthodox study Bible. And at the bottom, some of the notes reminds the reader that of the moment when the Israelites were going through the Red Sea after they left Egypt, and how God had, the power over the Red Sea to split it so they could walk through. And I just want to read maybe this whole passage here. We'll see. It says, on the following day, meaning the following day from after he got done feeding the 5,000, after, he was on the sea and his disciples were on the boat and it was really rocky, or wavy, I should say. On the following day, when the people who were standing on the other side of the sea saw that there was no boat there, except that one which his disciples had entered, and that Jesus had entered the boat with his disciples, had not entered the boat with his disciples. Okay, so clearly these people had been watching still Jesus and his disciples and trying to find out where they were going. They knew his disciples had gotten on the boat, and they also knew that Jesus had not gotten on the boat. But his disciples had gone away alone. However, other boats came from Tiberias, near the place where they ate bread after the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, nor his disciples, they also got into boats and came into Capernaum, seeking Jesus. So they saw what Jesus could do. They saw his disciples get into the boat. They saw that Jesus didn't get into the boat. They saw other boats coming into the port and no Jesus. And so they decided to get on the boat themselves to seek Jesus. Okay, verse 25. And when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, who's him? Jesus, Rabbi. Rabbi also meaning teacher. When did you come here? Now remember, they were on the other side of the Sea of Galilee. They have gotten on the boat to go to the opposite side where Capernaum is. Jesus answered them and said, most assuredly I say to you, you seek me, not because you saw the signs, but because you ate the loaves and were filled. It wasn't the signs that Jesus did that caused the people to follow him. And I love that. It was because they ate the bread and they were filled. we know that Jesus is the bread of life. We know that he gives us eternal life. And the passage is going to go on to talk about, the bread of life and all that. But it's also a reminder of how, God provided the manna and the quail for the Israelites in Egypt in the wilderness when they were hungry. And God provided enough so that they would be full until the next time that he would need to provide food for them again. But it says, I say to you, you seek me, not because you saw signs, but because you ate the loaves and were filled. Do not labor, meaning work, do not work for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him. So who's this bread that gives everlasting life? It's the Son of God. It's Jesus. Then they said to him, what shall we do that we may work the works of God? They saw the works of God that Jesus was doing. And they wanted to know, what do they need to do? What labor do they need to do? What works do they need to do? What actions do they need to take? What signs do they need to do? Jesus answered them and said to them, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he sent. What's the work? That they believe in God. They believe in God who sent his Son, Jesus. That's the works. That's the work of God. The words of Jesus. And then it talks about, I'm just going to read this passage real quick because I know my drop is coming up, but it says, Jesus, the bread of life. Therefore they said to him, what sign will you perform then, that we may eat it and believe you? What work will you do? Our fathers ate the manna in the desert. As it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Jesus said to them, most assuredly I say to you, Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but the Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. Then they said to him, Lord, give us this bread always. And Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. But I said to you that you have seen me and yet do not believe. All that the Father gives me will come to me, and the one who comes to me I will by no means cast out. The one who comes to me will by no means be cast out. For I have come down from heaven not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. This is the will of the Father who sent me, that of all he has given me I should lose nothing, but should raise it up in the last day. And this is the will of him who sent me. Did I repeat this? Oh yeah. That everyone who sees the Son and believes in him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up on the last day. Jesus is going to be crucified. He's going to hang from the cross and bad things are going to happen. And those who look upon him, like they did on the serpent, and believe, and the serpent is the one that was put on the post during the time that they were in the wilderness, and those who set their eyes upon this snake would be healed. And but they ended up idolizing this snake and it had serpent, and it had to be destroyed, because during this time they had gotten bitten due to their disobedience and their whining and their complaining, and many died. And so the serpent was put on a post and put up, and whoever saw this serpent was healed. And so this is the way it is with Jesus. Those who would look upon Jesus and believe in Jesus would be healed. But not only that, they would receive everlasting life. And his body would be raised up through his crucifixion before he willingly gave up his spirit. The Jews, verse 41, the Jews then complained about him, because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven. And they said, is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it then that he says, I have come down from heaven? So what is the work of God here? The work of God is that we all may believe in him who sent his Son, so that all may have eternal life when they see him and believe in him. That's the work of God.